Yes, the real media.
KJAG Radio and KMA Entertainment, your source for entertainment news and interviews in Central and South Central Kansas. The best of the best are here, and we go above and beyond to bring you the most bang for your buck. Find us on the social sites like Facebook and Twitter. Log on to kjagradio.com and jiggyjaguar.com for more.
Thank you. Good night.
Back here on kjagradio.com, I'm Jiggy Jag, Jigman Freud, out here at the Hutchinson Fox Theater in the great salt city of Hutchinson, Kansas. And I've got a very, very, very funny lady with me, Mrs. Hughes, and I'm going to get the hell out of the way and let the people with talent talk. So, Mrs. Hughes, tell me about Hutchinson. What do you think of...
I love this place. It is so wonderful, but it's really flat. I don't know if you know that. But people tell you Kansas is flat, but until you've been here, it is really, really flat.
Now, you're playing tonight here at the Fox Theater.
Yes.
And we got to watch a little bit of your sound check and everything, and you've got some incredible stuff. You were talking a little bit just with some of the people up there doing the sound check. You dropped microphones in the past.
I have.
Tell me about some of the odd things that have happened to you over your legendary comedy career.
Listen, I have had a bajillion things on stage go wrong, but I've
bajillion? Did you make that word up?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
But the theater was leaking. It was pouring rain, and we were in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, at the Lily Lane Tree Theater with lots of stained glass. It was really quite pretty. But the roof leaked, and so backstage it was all leaking. There was buckets everywhere to contain the water. It didn't leak on the stage, thank heaven. And I shared the mic with the singer in the show, and he put the mic down on a table backstage, and it rolled off and landed in a bucket of water. And at that same theater, we had a fire alarm in the middle of the show, and this was a luncheon show, and it was all people from the convalescent and rest home care, assisted living people with wheelchairs and stuff, and we're trying to get them out. The kitchen was on fire. And in that same theater, they used to get tour buses in, and on 3 separate occasions, there were Russian-speaking tourists that did not speak English. Now, they enjoyed the singing and the dancing in the show, but they were, playing cards and stuff during my show. So the second time it happened, I thought, this is good. I went out and I said, "Do svidaniya," which I thought said, welcome, and it means goodbye. And they just howled. They thought that was a riot, so...
Now, tell me about some of the different places you've played around the country. You're like a road warrior. You've been all over the damn place.
In the early part of my career, in the first 7 years, I was one of those one-nighter people going from one place to the next, and it was 9 hours sometimes to places. I was in Honey on the Rock Motel in someplace Kentucky. Horrible place. And the manager of the club, it was just a comedy club, it wasn't a theater,
yeah,
said to me, he says, all of the patrons in here will be packing. And they didn't mean going on vacation, they meant they had guns. So then when they heckled me, I didn't know what to do, didn't want to be shot. And I've worked in clubs that had chicken wire to prevent you being hit with the beer bottles. And on one of the clubs, it used to be a strip joint, and so they had this catwalk thing. The bar was there, and the catwalk went all the way around the bar. So you kind of felt like you needed to disrobe. It was, just really, really strange. But I've worked in Atlantic City, and at resorts, and at the Showboat, and now, of course, you're asking me, and I Park Place, just lots of really cool casinos in Atlantic City. I spent about 3 years off and on in Atlantic City, and that was during their part where they were trying to renew it and make it not such a scary, awful place. And I think they're still doing that. The casino's on the boardwalk, and the boardwalk is fine, but it's there's streets, like 5 fingers of streets. And each one of those streets was a horrible slum area. It was really, really kind of scary. And but I've been in New York. I've been on Broadway. Well, it's a club on Broadway, but I was there. And then, of course, Las Vegas and Reno. I love Reno. I like Las Vegas, but Reno is a little bit more community-like, and it just was fun. And then when I went to Reno, I was at John Esquaga's Nugget, and they told me the opening act, that the act was an elephant, and I thought they were talking about me. But it was an elephant. And one night he pooped on stage, just before my turn. And all those people had to smell elephant poo, because the smell lingered while I was there. But anyway, I felt free to fart if I wanted to.
Now, when you go through and you come up with some of your different bits in comedy and all this, what exactly goes through your mind when do you just find everyday things funny?
I do find everyday things funny. Now, this isn't that funny, but I thought it was funny. I just saw a sign at a shopping center, not a mall, but a shopping center, a strip mall kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's a big sign that says all the names of the stores, and one of them was shoe repair, and it said shoe repair, orthodontic jobs, and tailoring. And then 2 spaces down there was a dentist. And I thought, well, they're in competition. If the shoe repair's doing orthodontics, it might be cheaper.
Now, you told a joke during sound check that this is the best joke I've heard in a long time. Tell me about this head. These parents had a head or something.
This couple was expecting their first child, and they were very, very excited, and she was in terrible, terrible labor. They're rushing to the hospital, and they get there, and she's rushed off to the delivery room, and he goes into the waiting room with the other fathers that are there. And pretty soon a doctor will come in and say to him, man, you've had twins, or it's a girl, or whatever, and they're all excited and everything, and pretty soon all the other dads left, and he was the only one there for a long time, and he was beginning to worry. When the doctor came in, and he said, it's a boy. And before the man could jump in the air and just clap with elation, and he said, but there's a problem. He doesn't have a body. It's just a head. Well, they were disappointed. You would be. But you know, they loved the head. They educated the head. They raised him. They played catch with him in the yard. They took him bowling. And soon he was having his birthday. He was 21 years old. And there was a big present, and the mother had to open it for him because he's just a head. But he looked and he said, oh, another hat, thank you. And the dad said, it's your 21st birthday, and I'm going to take you to the local bar, and we're going to buy you a drink. So they went, and they got to the bar, and of course it's full of customers, and the customers were trying not to gawk and look, but, you know, you can't help it when something like that happens. You know, you look at the mirror behind the bar, and you're kind of watching, and it was disturbing. But the man loved the head, and he gave him a drink. He gave him a drink of Jägermeister, which is this vile-tasting liquor stuff that tastes a lot like foot smell with a hint of licorice. And they gave him this little sip, and out popped arms. And now the people were being surreptitious, but looking a little bit more. And they gave him he gave him another sip, and out popped a body. And now everybody's looking, and they're cheering, and they're saying things like, chug it down, sop it up, or whatever you say, don't drink. But whatever you say in a bar, that kind of a drinking thing. I started to say something really dirty, but I almost said jack it off, but I didn't. But that's not what I meant. But there is a word, an expression, but I don't know what it is. And anyway, so he took the last of it, just chugged it all down, and out popped legs. And now everybody is crying and cheering, and the dad's crying. And he stood up on his legs, but he'd never walked before, and he was a little bit drunk, because Jägermeister will do that to you. And he started to walk, and he started going faster and faster. He walked out of the bar, out the door, across the sidewalk, into the street, got hit by a truck, and was killed. The bartender was the first one out there, and he looked down. He said, I knew he should have quit while he was ahead.
Now, you're going on tour, you're all over the place, and the best spot is your website, correct?
Oh yes, or just Google Mrs. Hughes. I'm all over the internet. but I'm not the teacher one. There's a teacher. And Mr. and Mrs. Hughes get married. That's not us either. I'm the comedian one. My latest one just went up, and it's I don't think it's on my channel yet on YouTube, but it's Mrs. Hughes Winnipeg, and you'll see my latest one.
So are you bashing Canadians? Or
No, I love Canada. Oh no, I love Canada. I've been in the Winnipeg Comedy Festival twice, and I was in Regina, which isn't anything near Salina. I thought, for a minute I thought it was Regina, Kansas too, but it's Salina, Kansas.
Well, I don't know. Some of the people that live there were looking into
But
that
there are
here.
vaginas? Oh, I didn't mean to say that. I meant...
Either way, we're fine.
Well, you can cut that.
That's right.
But let me tell you something. Hutchinson's, Kansas is lovely, and the Fox Theater is beautiful. And this is famous for its salt, which they have a salt mine and a salt mine museum and everything, and I did not get to go. But somebody said, "You've never heard of Kerry salt?" And I said, "No, the only one I know is Morton's." And they explained to me that it's road salt. Well, I didn't know that. And I didn't, like I said, go to the mine or anything, but I have seen a bucket of road salt, and so I feel that was touristy enough for me.
Well, thank you for doing this.
Thank you very much.
And thanks to the Fox Theater, thanks to Mrs. Hughes, and thanks for watching KJagRadio.com.
Thank you.